Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Thomi. This is Nessie. We are here today to show you all the cool things we've been doing for almost the last month. It's been almost a month since we were here. I've just been really busy. We got a new used car. I'm going to teach my son how to drive. I haven't driven in years, and so that's exciting. But also, you know, it's stressful getting all the registration and the inspection and then making sure you know what all the buttons do. And this one's really very, it's more computerized than anything we've had before. So there's like a screen, and I don't know. It's been a long time since I drove, so it's taken a little bit of getting used to. I finished my quilt back here. I'm not going to get in. It's in a quilt show locally pretty soon, and so I want to kind of keep the details for the big reveal, right? We'll maybe look at it after the show, which is in October. Yeah. Let's see what else. Yeah, I've been having a fibromyalgia flare, which is mostly energy and just general soreness. You know, nothing dangerous, nothing earth-shattering, just really frustrating when you have things you want to do and your garden is kind of exploding, you know. And it was really, really hot until a couple days ago, and that adds to fibromyalgia. Any extremes in weather seem to give me a flare. So maybe once we are cooled down for a week, I'll start feeling better. We'll see. Yeah, but because of the fibro flare and just other general stuff, ouch, that's ow, wow. Yeah, she's still feeling very spicy. Not mean exactly, but spicy. Because you can see her pin feathers are coming in. Look, you see on her little face, you see how scruffy she looks. It's because her pin feathers are coming in. And she can see herself now. She's like, who's that bird? So, yeah, I've not been volunteering. And it'll probably be a month or two before I can get back to it. I miss the ladies, though. They're a fun group. Okay, well, let's see. I've got 4 whips. And then I've got a lot to talk about with plans. And sorry, I'm a space cadet. Okay, so yeah, 4 whips, lots of plans. Most of my plans are further out at this point. I'm not starting anything new in the next couple weeks, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so the first thing that I've been working on, I've made a lot of really good progress. Since it's been a month since I was here, almost a month, I've made good progress on these. This is Summerhill. Let's see if I can get the glare. It's really hard to get out of the plastic bag. Oh, Nessie's gonna wreck it anyway. So I've been working across the bottom. I've got almost have this bottom band done. I was running out of the green, so I had to go and buy more. But I had enough to do the band, but I couldn't keep going up. So yeah, I really love the colors. It reminds me very much of the fall wildflowers, you know, that are around the edges of fields and ditches. All those colors, when everything gets really saturated and the greens the greens get, this time of year, I'm in central New York. And so the heat, when it gets really hot, the trees, the green leaves on the trees, they get this sort of dull, I think they get a coating. I don't know exactly how it works, but they get like, they protect themselves. And so they're duller looking, kind of like my green wall back here. This is the only room on the first floor that's not been redone. And it had fake wood paneling on top of the plaster. And so there's like, my whole studio has like dark green with these spots of construction glue. Yeah, but it doesn't matter, right? Anyway, so Summerhill, and we have Summerhill State Forest that we drive in a lot of the time, you know, all the seasons, except maybe winter, unless, you know, we're feeling brave, because the roads are, they're not maintained out of season. They're just little dirt access tracks, really. So this is how far I've gotten on Summerhill. And this is just across the bottom. And let's see if I can get it to not focus on my face. There we go. So this has been really fun, and I really like this band just as it is. And so I think, you know, if I'm not too worn out by it, eventually I will embroider this, or not, well, do this as like a headband maybe. I think that would be cool. So there's, you probably can't see it, but in these flowers, they're like sort of like bleeding hearts, which to me is not a summer flower, but you know, I get them in late spring, mid to late spring, so maybe. But so there's 4 different pinks in there. It goes from a red to a lighter red to like a medium pink and then a really light pink. And that's really nice. I really like how that, it doesn't blend at first. And I felt like, oh, I don't need to put all these different reds in. That's silly. I can skip one. And then I tried and I skipped one and I regretted it. So it does blend. It does blend. So I guess I should just, she obviously knows what she's doing with color. I love Karen Kluba's designs. I think I'll be doing a lot of hers. And as far as like for myself, as I'm trying to teach myself cross-stitch design, I think Karen Kluba is a really good person for me to pay attention to. I like how she has the areas of dense, you know, it's like, it's basically solid here, you know, it's full coverage. And then there's also the lacy bits that I really like, the lacy look as well. And so that's something that I want to have in my own designs. And so I'm making headway with my own designs, but I'm nowhere near close showing them to you yet, so don't get too excited. So yeah, this is going really well. I'll work on it through September 19th or 20th, because that's when the autumn equinox is. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do, this is a series of 4, 1 for each season. And I don't know yet if I'm going to do Autumn Hill, because money, right? There's like 30, 35 colors, and I don't have a lot of them. And that was one reason I started Summerhill, because I thought, well, that's a really good way for me to add to my DMC collection. I'm trying to get a full collection of DMC. So I might do it. I just haven't, it'll be one of those in the moment. Okay, we're good. I can spend the whatever, $60 on the pattern and the floss. And it's a paper pattern, and I've found it really easy to work from. It's nice and big. And I just had my son photocopy it for me. And so I'm just taping together what I need as I need it. She almost landed in my pocket there. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this is coming along really well. I will not finish it this year. I will probably not finish it next year. I like the idea of having a long-term seasonal project, like sort of in the background all year. So, and the designs, the Autumn Hill, Winter Hill, and Spring Hill, they're all similar enough. Like the hill on the bottom is the same size and shape on all 4 patterns. It's different colors and stuff inside of it. So it'd be almost like working on the same piece all year, but not. And I like that. It would progress through the year, you know, and I'd feel like I was making a lot of progress, even though it was on 4 different pieces. So I like that idea. And so I really should just get the Autumn Hill, shouldn't I? Ooh, oh, I scared you. I'm sorry. Here. Okay. So I've been crushing my stitches, and I like working in a hoop. This is an 8-inch, and I have a 6-inch. I think a 7 would probably be perfect for most things for me. But you can see I've wrapped both the inner and the outer. I kind of ran out of space on the screw here, because if I wrap the whole thing, the little screw isn't long enough to fit the fabric in between. But I really love this setup because I can pop it in. It's almost instantly tight and the grain stays straight because there's just the right amount of friction all the way around. And I like that. And it doesn't crush the stitches as bad because I don't have to crank it down really tight. It's the friction that holds it more than the pressure. And so I'll put these pieces of batting in between the stitches that I'm covering and the hoop, and that adds just enough padding, and I've not been crushing stitches, which is really good. Ooh, oh, you're gonna make a mess. You're gonna make a mess. She's sliding around on the plastic. Slide the whole thing off the table, the whole pile. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to do that. Yeah, so this is a really good, I've fiddled around with a bunch of different ways to do it, and this works. It's not fussy, it's not much hassle. And also I just don't leave anything in the hoop, even overnight. Even if I'm gonna work in the same spot the next day, I've been taking it out. And that's really helped. Several people said they did that. I think, who was it? It was Jackie, Comfort Stitching Jackie. She was talking about how she never leaves things in hoops. And I think that makes sense. I don't know if she wraps hers though, but I do. I have the smaller one, the 6-inch one I have is a vintage one, and it has, the edges are nice and curved, and so that doesn't do as much damage on its own. So I've only got the outside wrapped on that. So yeah, this works. This works really well. I want to save up and get a stand. I have no idea what kind. I think I like to work like right in front of my face, and so. And I don't sit in soft chairs. I have a lot of arthritis in my back and hips, and straight chairs, solid chairs are much like, I've got this antique office chair that I sit in a lot. And it's more comfortable, for lengths of time. My posture stays better, and it's just overall healthier, I think, for me. So maybe a table stand. I would love to have a Lowry floor stand that would just alter and do everything, but that's pretty expensive. So I think one of those wooden tabletop ones that just clamps onto the hoop is a good starting point. I'm hoping I can find one used locally. So I've got to look around and kind of put feelers out, look on Facebook Marketplace, that kind of thing. I almost never go on Marketplace. My daughter usually looks for stuff for me because I hate Facebook. I just hate Facebook. Okay. Oh, let me show you the threads in case you haven't seen this project before. Here are the threads for Summerhill. And it's just a gorgeous collection of colors. Look at that. And they're obviously they're my colors, because if you look on the quilt, there's a lot of the same colors going on. And the quilt is a spring, it's called Daybreak in Spring. And so those are more spring colors around here, and these are the summer colors around here. So you can see, I just love those purples. Yummy. Okay, before the bird destroys anything else, she loves to chew on the paper patterns. Not gonna chew on the pattern today. Okay, so what's up next? Let's see. Let's make sure I put everything, trying to keep my area clear while I'm doing this. So the fabric for Winter Hill is a Picture This Plus. It's a printed, super light, I think it's like smoky gray, but it's a 40 count linen. And I really like it. I really like it. Super easy to see, super easy to get through the holes. It's not too slubby. It's pretty even, so I like it. So the next one is Do Different. And I will put a little thing up here while I get this get this out. So this is a long dog sampler called Do Different. It's an older one, you know, not old, but 4 or 5 years old. I think post-pandemic, but that's all that I can remember. And I'm using Sulky 12-weight thread in color, which I should know by now, but I don't, 1096. And I got through the first spool, which was exciting. All right, so here we go. This is the bottom part. So I've gotten all the way across, and working my way up this side. And when I get back to it next, this is my weekend stitch. It's 2 days of the week, and I get about 1,000 stitches a weekend because, I don't know, it's easy just to do this one in little bits and pieces, which is one reason I decided to do it as a weekend stitch, because it's so much easier to pick it up and set it down. So let's see, I got from last time I had this and this and this. I think I was right here when you saw it last. So I've made pretty good progress. And I really love how the stitches stand out with the Sulky, because it's a twisted, it's like, it's nice and round, and it makes like nice little bumpy feel. Like, I think I said in the last video, it feels like Braille. But it's really nice for this kind of stitch where it's one color and the texture is really important, right? So this is on 40 count as well. I dyed it myself. If you want to see that, I'll try to put a little card up to that video. I did not a tutorial, but just, you know, showed what I was doing and how I did it. So that's my last Flosstube extra if you're just looking in general. And so this green, it's yummy. It's so much fun to work on. Let's see if I can show you the whole piece here. I might have to back up. Squeaky chair alert. Yeah, so this tells me, markup tells me that I'm 9.35% done. And I got about 4,500 stitches out of one spool. And so that means I'll probably need 12 total. So I bought 5 to start with. I figured it'd get me almost halfway, and I was right. So I'll order some more of those before too long here. It's just a real methodical, easy pattern to work on. You're really, really attacking me today. You know, it's really rude. So what I've started doing, I don't know, let me, if I can get it small enough that I can hold it up with one hand. So when I work on it, so I've got it in Markup XP. So I'll go like 5 stitches in columns. I go up 5, down 5, up 5, down 5, all the way across. And then I'll start back over, up 5, down 5, all the way across. And that has really helped me with my counting. And I use the guides, you know, the highlighted guides in Markup, so I can just get the one column that I'm working on and just focus on that. And then I move it, you know, I mark off every 5 stitches. It takes time, it slows me down, but I don't know, I'm not having to frog. And when I first, there was one weekend where I wasn't doing it that way, the first weekend after I showed you guys last, and I was trying to do like the whole triangle as a unit, and I just screwed it up really bad. I ended up having to pull out about 300 stitches, which was almost a whole day's work. Not what I'm here for, right? Like, frogging is not fun. I've got my little frog. Let's do a little frog. Oh, I don't want to scare Nessie. She's going to get scared. We see, I've got my little, he looks real. He sits here on my desk with me. So that was my only big frogging thing in the last couple weeks. But it's it's actually pretty easy to pull out the sulky too. It's easier than the DMC because it doesn't fray and shred and just get all weird and tangled up on itself. And when I made the mistake, it was a super hot, humid day, and I was having lots of knots happen. And I wonder if that's not the humidity, because it seems to me like whatever I'm using, whatever fabric combination with floss, or it doesn't seem to matter, but it's really when it's hot and really, really thick, I get a lot of knots. And of course, I get distracted and I'm looking back and forth from the chart and looking at the knot, and then I make mistakes. So I've kind of just, if it's like that, then because I usually stitch out on my porch whenever the weather's even remotely okay, I'm outside. It's really good for my mental health to be outside, but I don't have the energy to go out and walk or hike or do any of that kind of stuff. But sitting on my porch in the sun, not direct sun, but it's really nice. But, if it's super hot, I come in here to the studio where I do have a window AC unit that I run. Not much, but it's enough to keep me going. Yeah, so I'm really liking this long dog, and if I keep up my pace, I might actually finish it in a year, because it's got almost 53,000 stitches. So if I do 1,000 a week, give or take, maybe it'll take me 13 months. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really glad I started. I was kind of feeling silly for starting another big project, but I really enjoy it. All right, so what's next? Next is Nessie. Nessie is in the way. Come on, sit up here. You're hurting me. My fingers are sore. She's really chewing on me. Okay, so my next whip I'll put up here is Mother Earth. And this is a pattern I got off Etsy, a shop named TinselCrossStitch. And they seem to have quite a few of these Russian or Slavic originated designs. This is on a 25 count Aida that I dyed myself. It's a cocoa brown. And here it is. I'll bring it in so you can see. So it looks pretty washed out up close. Where's the color? Yeah, that's more what the color really looks like. There's a lot of people doing that. Like if you back off, you get the better color. Of course, you can't see the detail. So this Aida is not quite even. It's longer this way across there's the selvage here. So I know it's longer this way. So 25 threads this way is longer than 25 threads this way, which is really irritating. And there's a couple other projects that you'll see at the end, I'm abandoning because I started on this fabric and it's just not. This one, it's fine because it's organic shapes. So I think what I did last time I had this side done, this little motif here was done. And this time I just did the mirrored one on this side. So yeah, it looks good. I'm getting the hang of the 2/1, 2 threads. It seems like a lot of the more simple, maybe beginner friendly patterns are bigger stitches with 2 threads. And I don't know. I think it's a lot harder to get two threads to look good, lay nicely, than it is 1. So, I mean, if your eyesight allows and you're just starting out, don't hesitate to go, for the 1/2 linen kind of stuff, 40 count or 32 count, or not 32, 36 count. I know a lot of people can do 1/2 on 36 count linen. I haven't tried that yet, but I want to. So this pattern is trucking along. I think I would really like to finish this by the end of September. And I think I can do that if I just keep a couple days a week working on it. Next, I'll be doing her body. I need to have like a little clipboard thing. I can see why people use that now. I usually do the overhead camera, and I don't have the editing energy today to do that, so I'm just holding it up here. I've not done this much. I usually go have the second camera. So there's a flower that'll go here, and then her torso and head. I think I'll work on that next. So hopefully I have that done before next time. And I'm definitely going to be putting bright colors in the centers of those flowers. I think that'll give this the little bit of extra sparkle that it kind of needs right now. It's not quite there yet, so it needs a little bit more color. And I think this is one of those pieces that might really look a lot better finished, like in a frame maybe, just because of, I don't know, the it's all mid-tones right now. There's not a dark and a light. I need to kind of work on that. But it's coming along good. It's coming along good. It's fun to work on. It's easy to see on the Ada here, but again, yeah, I'm not going to start anything new until I find an Ada that I like better, that is actually even in each direction. Okay, I'm going to pause here because my next one I definitely want to have on a board, and I don't have one handy, so just a sec. Okay, I'm back. So next, if you've all been waiting, it's Strawberry Fields. I get so many wonderful comments on this piece. So here's where I am. I'll show you the pattern in a second, the photograph. So I worked mostly on this section here, and I got this basket and bird in. So if you've not seen my version before I changed, this was supposed to go straight across, and I turned it into an arch. My husband's suggestion. So yeah, the colors look pretty true here. That looks really good. So I've changed a lot of things. I don't even remember all of them. I think the first thing I changed was I made the gate of a dark gray instead of red. And I just pulled colors from Stash that looked like the photo on the pattern. So the pattern used a lot of over dyes, which I didn't have any of. So there's parts of it where I really wish I'd had like the grass here. It would look a lot better if it had been an over dye, or if I'd taken the time to do a couple different greens, and I didn't realize it would matter. It matters. And the same thing with the stems. I tried to mix up the greens in these stems, but an over dye would have made it a lot easier. But it looks pretty good. How close in can I get? There we go. That's a little bit. So it's really small. I really like this one. And I put, did I do red on the bird's wing? Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. The bird's wings have red on them because we have a lot of red-winged blackbirds around here. So that's Summerhill, and I do think I'm gonna focus on this piece a lot in the next 2 weeks. I would like to finish it before you see it again. So I know that's like it's a good way to not get something accomplished. Everybody says that, you know, if you say you're going to finish it, it won't happen. So here, let me show you the pattern cover. So this is the pattern cover. So I took this unit up. I just slid it up so that it would sit more in the arch, and that gives me a little more room here, and it helps fill in this space. So I'm going to have the vine, the strawberry, kind of do another little S curve here with branches coming off, and then down in here too. But it's a sweet piece. My husband really likes it. He's looking forward to having it up. He says it's going to make it seem more homey here. And the red house first attracted me because the last house that we owned, where our kids were really little, was in terrible. It needed a paint job really, really bad. And so Joe scraped the whole thing down, and it was like almost naked wood, but really scabby looking. And he did this over one summer, and he was going to paint in the fall, and we had this really bad auto accident, and he was in the hospital for weeks. And so I hired people to paint it, and we had agreed that it would be bright red, and so I went with bright red. And the guys on the painting crew, they were like, "This is terrible. We've never painted a house bright red before." And they, "Are you sure? Are you sure, lady?" Don't you hate it when guys do that? "Are you sure, lady?" Like, yes, I'm freaking sure. So we had our house painted stop sign red, and it was fabulous. I love it. It's still, whenever we drive by it, because it's on a main road, whenever we drive by it to this day, it makes me smile, because they left it red, the people that bought it. They must have liked it too. So yeah, I'm thinking of actually doing a series of designs of homes that I've lived in, because I'm a homebody. I spend all my time, like so much of my time, in my home, and I get really attached. They have a personality, homes all have a personality, and so I kind of want to do a sampler type thing for each home that I've lived in, and little things about the property or about my life then, in and around, sampler style. So that's down the road, but I've got it working. So let's see, that's all my whips. I do want to get this done. I really do want to get this done by the end of August. So I've got a couple weeks. It's too close to just let it languish at this point. So I'll have that finished, and then I guess I'll move on into plans now, because that's kind of where I'm going. Let me double check, make sure I didn't forget anything. I forgot the linen on this is Picture This Plus 40 count. Colorway is lichen, and it's a dyed, not printed, because the back and the front are both modeled. And I don't know if I'll frame it. I kind of think it would look cute. Well, I'm not going to make it into a pillow or anything. It's my house. We're really hard on stuff. So I'll probably make it into sort of a wall hanging. I'll frame it with some fabric that accentuates it. Maybe a quilty wall hanging kind of finish, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Nothing too elaborate and involved. I've got so many things going on. So I did say, oh, somebody's at the door. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sadie gets very, very opinionated when somebody knocks on the door. I had not unlocked the front door this morning, and Joe was locked out. Came home for lunch. So where was I? Plans. Yes. Okay. So finished Strawberry Field. I'm gonna work on the center torso and head of Mother Earth. I'm gonna start a sampler, a surprise. It's gonna be a surprise. I'm gonna start a sampler in September, because it's Sampler September. And I'm gonna dye the fabric myself. And I'll probably do a Flosstube extra later this week, early next week. You might see that out, or I might include it in the next time. In I might include it in the next video instead of releasing it as a separate extra. We'll see how long it is and if it's a pain in the neck. Yeah, so I am going to do Sampler September, just one. I know a lot of people, that's all they, but I like just one. I'll start one, sort of a mid-sized piece. And I will probably have decided whether I'm going to do the Autumn Hill pattern, and I'll be starting that. If I do it, I'll be starting it September 20th or the 21st, whichever is the equinox. Is it equinox in autumn? Yes, I should know that. So then out even further for October, I have some plans. The first one is going to be really fun. It's a small stitch. It's Gathering Acorns, I think is what it's called. I'll put a picture of it up here. I'm going to be doing this with Pam from at Ditsy Daisy Crafts, and I think Jason is also doing it from TinselCrossStitch. Jason Xstitches. I can't remember how his. I'll put it here. And those two are just awesome. I know they're buddies, and I've been a buddy with Pam, and so I'm going to join those two. I don't think it's like an official stitch along. I'm not sure how that's being set up. I think it might just be a start along with the three of us and whoever else feels like doing it too. It's a really cute pattern. I'm going to be doing a complete color shift. I'm not going to be doing the called for at all. I've got to find my fabric first, and then I'll work on the colors of the flosses from there. I know Pam's going to be changing some things too. She doesn't really like the basket at the bottom. So that'll be fun. I haven't done any collaborative things like that. No stitch alongs or anything. The Strawberry Fields was sort of a stitch along, but I didn't really promote it that way. And I didn't join in the beginning either. I was just kind of, in the fringes and the periphery, I've only been stitching since late January, and don't bite my ear, since late January. And so I've been hesitant to start things like that because I didn't know myself as a stitcher well enough to really commit to anything. And also I'm just socially very hesitant. I'm pretty comfortable in front of the camera, but there's nobody here, right? Like as soon as there's somebody around, I have a hard time. So that's my fun plan for October. And I shouldn't say that my other project isn't fun, but it's a very serious project. I have kind of had this idea for a long time that I wanted to use a piece of my mother's crewel embroidery, really the only one I have that's not just basically threadbare and ruined, and do some of my own work and kind of make a collaborative piece with my mother, because I never had an opportunity to do that. I painted her portrait a long time ago, and that's I don't have a picture of it. I would put it up here. It actually has it's like her on one side, and then like 2/3 of it is these quilt blocks, and in the blocks there's things from my childhood and our family and stuff that made me think of her. And she was one of those moms that just she was always there, right? She stayed at home. There were 4 of us kids. She everything from scratch, gardened, all the homesteady things, and without all the fanfare. She was just very she was very dedicated to education and ouch. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. How about I scratch your head? So, my mom and dad both passed away in October, 3 years apart. My mom was in 2009. My dad was in 2012. So October is not a great month for me, even though it's been so long. And October is hard anyway because it starts to get really dark and I start to have trouble with sleeping and stuff too. So it's always a combination of things. But I thought if I plan ahead for October, see, I can see, and I'm turning red because it's a tough, it's a tough time. So if I feel like if I fill October with things to look forward to, like starting this project in collaboration with my mom, starting the project with Pam and Jason, like the social nature of that, I think that's gonna help me. And if I can get through October, then I might be okay during the holidays. Because if I have a bad October, then the rest, like the next 3 months, usually looks pretty grim. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. And that's probably not the only thing I will be starting or like focusing on in October. It might be only cross stitch things, but I might have other projects that I kind of try to get going as well, just to keep myself focused. Because if I have a good winter, I get a lot done and I feel great. And I tend to go into spring feeling a lot healthier as well. So a lot of what I do, just like in the studio is very much with my mental and physical health in mind. This is part of how I manage being chronically ill, is to be creative. If I'm active, she's trying to pull my thingy off. No. If I keep myself actively engaged in being creative, and that's a very positive thing, and it's easier for me to get through. Maybe I do have a really bad fibromyalgia flare, or, maybe I do have a round of headaches. Like I had really bad migraines all spring, but being able to keep, slower, but still making things and it's just, it pulls me through. And it's good to have a lot of different things that do that around. And that's one reason, like, I don't have a big stash of any, I don't have a big fabric stash. I don't have a big, I have stuff. I've got a lot of stuff. So I can always pick up something and do something. Maybe I've just got a day where I'm feeling blah, and maybe I pull out my beads and maybe I work on a necklace. And maybe it doesn't even turn into anything, but for that day, it gets me through, right? I really feel like being creative and focusing on process and enjoying the whole process from the idea stage to collecting what you're going to need. Maybe you enjoy shopping, and so there's times when that's all I can do is just surf and look at stuff, right? And so I make wish. I try not to buy when I'm feeling really low like that, but I make wish lists. I make notes about things, and so that when I do start to have energy, one of those little ideas or things that I've kind of had sitting there will really take hold, and that can pull me right out of a funk, whether it's physical or mental. So it's better than, I used to spend a couple $100 a month on medication. And it turns out that I was completely improperly diagnosed. And so I was on medication that was very bad for me. I was diagnosed as bipolar. I am not bipolar. I never was. But at the time when I was having problems, I was seeing a crummy doctor, and then he diagnosed me and in 5 minutes. And then while pregnant, who's not a little bit flippity flop when they're pregnant? I just want to know. So, that attached to me for 15 years. There's bird feathers flying in the air. And so the medication that you're put on when you're bipolar, they're really heavy duty psychotropic medications. And I was on multiple different ones. They all did damage of one sort or other. Now, don't get me wrong. If you need these medications, if you are indeed, if you have a diagnosis and it's a real well thought out diagnosis from an intelligent, caring provider, take your medicine, because it really does help. Because now I'm on medicine, it really does help because I have the proper diagnosis. But if it doesn't feel right, keep pursuing it on your own, but take your medicine. Enough said. I'm a big proponent of working with healthcare providers. You're the boss. Anyway, soapbox, done. Okay. So let's see, what other plans? So this tribute piece with my mom, this collaborative piece with my mom, it's going to be kind of epic, and I have no idea how long it's going to take. But I've been kind of working on collecting the pieces for 4 or 5 months now, and I still am excited about it. And I like projects like that where the build up, okay, you can't do that. You can't climb on my head. I don't like that. Yeah, so I'm excited about starting that piece, and I'll take you step by step. I'll probably have a separate video where I talk about it, whether it's one Flosstube episode where I just that's all I talk about, or if I do an extra. We'll see. Yeah, so that's all my forward plans for now. I did UFO a couple pieces, and because of the Ada, because of the funky Ada that I have, that's not even. I have a couple pieces that, do I have them here? Yeah. This piece is a Tree of Life, and if it looks distorted to you, it is distorted. It's like these are supposed to be like circles, and look at how they're just not. It's all stretched because of the distorted fabric. And I just, there's no way I'm going to come back and work on this. It just doesn't look good, and it's not going to. So that one's out. And this one is I'm not UFOing this one. I'm just stopping. I'm going to use what I've got here. This pattern is called 100 Squares. I think it's 2x2 Xstitch on Etsy is where I got it. It's a nice enough pattern, but I think, it's also on the bad Ada. And when I started this, I was brand new, and I liked that it had all those different things where I could just learn from. And I did. And I think I've just grown. I've grown out of this pattern. I don't need to have something like this I need something more complicated at this point to keep me engaged. And so I'm gonna use this as a center of words. I'm looking right at them. Project bag. I'm gonna make a project bag out of it. I think that'll be cool. With some quilting fabric, it'll look great. Because I like what I've got here. I just don't want to work on it anymore. So that leaves me with seven whips right now. I'm gonna try to keep myself 10, 12 at the most at any given point. I as far as like how much money I have tied up in my projects, space, right? That's probably a sweet spot for me. Will be 10 to 12. And so Strawberry Fields will finish, Mother Earth will finish in 6 weeks or so. And so then I'll have new ones coming in September and October. Yeah, that's good. And then my birthday is in November. 52. 52. And so I'll probably pick out something to start for my birthday. I don't know if it'll be a big thing or a little thing. I don't know. We'll see. I don't have any plans for that yet. Are we done, Nessie? I think we're done today. I know. I had a hard time getting started today, but it went okay. I'm sorry if I was a little discombobulated. I am a bit scattered. It's the fibromyalgia, it causes this thing called brain fog. And it's exactly that, you just can't quite get there. You can't quite see what you're trying to remember or what you're trying to say, or I forget things. I get time totally mixed up. And so that just makes it a real struggle. And so like getting set up today, I had to go, okay, you don't have it in you to do anything complicated. So I'm not going to do complicated editing, and that's okay. I'll do that next time if I'm feeling better. But I am really glad that Nessie was here today. I was missing her the last couple videos, but she wouldn't even come out of her cage and hang out with me. She was like, no, piss off. It's your fault that I feel yucky. Oh, there you go. All right, folks. Thank you for hanging out this long. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you spending time with me. I love answering your questions and all the comments, especially in Strawberry Fields. Thank you so much. The outpouring of positive comments has just been awesome on Strawberry Fields. I love it. And that's really encouraged me to start designing too, because I can see like the things that I've changed, that people are responding to that. And so that makes me feel very, okay, you can move forward slowly with this. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye.